All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean bringing you another video RPG du jour from not so sunny Beaumont, Texas. It is El Guapo Crapo outside. It is raining and expected to rain all day, and then 70% chance tomorrow. So yeah, it's nasty. I got my coffee here. It's almost noon here on the 3rd of December, so it's Saturday. Good morning. Using my handy dandy RPG Dragon Eye coaster, which is super cool. I'm getting use out of it. So today's video du jour is a throwback, but yet current. Funny how that works. This is a game that I played at one of my very first Gen Cons years ago. I mean, I'm talking years ago. Got to be a good 20 years. I don't think my son was born yet, and he's 18 next month, so, and it was before him. So yeah, the Dark Eye. This is the German version of what D&D is to America. This is to Germany. This is their version of a fantasy RPG, and it is pretty freaking awesome. This is, I think, I want to say the 4th version, maybe the 5th. I could be wrong. Ulysses Spiel, they are a great company. They're behind the Dark Eye, bringing it to the U.S. They are a German-based company, and they've brought us, they're going to be bringing us Torg 2.0 in conjunction with Shane Lacey Hensley and the fine folks over at Pinnacle. So you basically expect nothing but great things from these guys. This book is phenomenal. They have it's got some ribbons on it for bookmarks. It is stitched and glued on the binding there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's very well done. This was $49.95 at the local game store, which for 414 pages, which 4 of those pages are character sheets, and then a couple, I think 2 pages are index, but still 400 pages of gaming goodness. I mean, this book is chunky. It's hardback. It's got the glossy kind of embossed cover. It's very, the whole game speaks of quality. They got the nice logo, and that's been their logo ever since I've seen the game in the US. Years ago, I couldn't even tell you what year it was. It was pre-2000, though, I'm pretty sure. I was in Gen Con, and I saw this game, Das Schwag. And I hope I said that right. I'm betraying my German heritage if I don't say it properly. And all my fellow Sprachen Sie Deutsch people, correct me if I'm wrong. But they had this game called The Dark Eye, and I didn't know anything about it. And so I was like, yeah, sure. You know, I go to conventions to play games I've never played. And so I sat down, and it had a really neat game mechanic, because instead of rolling a handful of D6 or a single D20 or a couple D10s like Vampire and some other games, you rolled 3 D20. And basically, the mechanics don't appear to have changed very much. They've cleaned them up a little bit. They go through character creation. They go through basically dice mechanics and what you do. This is a game where rolling low is good. So you'll have 3 abilities, and they recommend you use 3 different dice of different colors, and even give you a nice little color wheel inside of here to denote what dice are what. So if you're like me, it gives you an excuse to go out and buy more dice, because, well, we all have our addictions, and that's mine. And so what you do is you roll 3 dice. You can either roll them all at the same time, or you can roll 1 at a time if you're dice challenged and don't have that many. And what you do is you're trying to accumulate enough successes on each dice that is tied to an attribute or skill in order to get an overall success. And then you get skill points based on some factors in the game. And then when you make each one of those 3 rolls for like a skill roll or a combat roll, you have X amount of skill points based on the attribute. And you can spend some of those skill points. The cool part is, for that roll, if you spend them all up, they're gone. So if you need a 15 on the die or lower, and you roll it and you got a 17, you could spend, say you have 10 skill points. You could spend 2 of those points, leaving 8 left over, and then you would be able to make and then that roll is a success. So you set the die off to the side, you roll the second die, they kind of based off of your, coordination or dexterity or courage, whatever it may be, charisma. You roll that die and say that ability is at a 12, and you need to roll 12 or less, and you roll a 17. Well, you take 5 more away from that initial 10 you had. You already spent 2. So that left you at 8. Now you spent 5. You've got 3 left. Now you go to your third die roll. You roll, say you fail it by 4. Say you needed a 12 or less, and you rolled 19. Well, you don't have enough points because you've only got 3 points left, so you fail. And it's kind of neat mechanic. It sounds really kludgy, but when you actually play it, it really works. And I'm not a big fan of clunky dice mechanics, but this one is not so much a clunky dice mechanics because it gives you a little bit of flavor and allows you to mix and match your attributes with your skills to get a possible outcome that works. Now, there's some that are set in stone. If you're doing combat, it's going to be these 3 attributes is what you use to swing a sword, strength, coordination, toughness, or whatever it may be. And you'll use that ability and boom, off you go. But there are some things that is up to good interpretation to the players, which is what I like. The GM is, an arbitrator. He's there to oversee. So pretty neat mechanic. Basically uses D20s and D6s with the D6s split up into D3s and D2s, which if I've got to explain that, seek help. You're new. And there's nothing wrong with being new. I wholly encourage it. And if you have questions, ask. But your local game group will help you do that. But anyway, that's the majority of dice you'll need. You may every once in a while need percentile, but there's a way to do that on a D20 as well. So not a huge big deal. But the cover is awesome. And the game gets its name from the Dark Eye. Dark eyes are this special meteoric metal from the gods or from space, whatever. And basically it's been infused with power. And they're few and far between, and wizards and beings of power covet them because they have power and they allow you to do spells. The world is Adventuria, which I always have a hard time saying. But that's the world that it's set in, and you have a whole bunch of different character classes like any fantasy trope. The art in the book is literally phenomenal. I'm trying to see if I can, you think I've done enough of these videos that I would be more prepared, and I would have a good, I would go through the book beforehand and pick out a couple good images, but that would be too much like right and well. I'm not cool like that. I like to wing it. Chapter 6, Professions. That's one of the 2 of the iconic characters that they use throughout the book. But you can see the art is quite nice. It's got almost that Larry Elmore feel to it in the early days of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And the art is consistent, which in my last video I talked about. Here's an elf and a man-at-arms or a fighter of some kind, you can see. So the art is, like I said, phenomenal. And then the cool part is even the art on the back and the cover, those are 3 of the iconic characters that they use as references throughout the book. So it's kind of, the follow-through on this is really well. I was reading the preface last night, and the cool thing that the author had said was that they knew they were going to put the game out on Kickstarter, but they didn't want to release it. The game was done. They could have released it and been done with it. But what they did instead is they went Kickstarter to promote it and get it produced, which is a smart thing to do if you're a small company. But they took the rules and they called them beta rules, and they sent them out to all the backers and said, hey, play this, give us feedback. And of course, a lot of people did. And they took that feedback and then they rewrote the rules and adjusted them accordingly and cleaned up a lot of the bloat that was in the mechanics. And they did a great job, in my opinion. I haven't read the whole book. I just got it yesterday. Like I said, I'm familiar with the mechanics, but it's been 20 years since I played this. And like I said, I own I believe it's the 2nd edition of this. And it has pretty much the same logo, different colors. And a phenomenal game. The world is like one big continent, set in the middle of the world, and then there's, I think, water all the way around it. But this continent, which is pretty much what you see here, is broken up. Like the center is the main human civilization, and then there's some elves and of course dwarves. All your fantasy tropes are here. Orcs in this game are the bad guys. They are furry, muscular barbarians, and they rape, pillage, and burn. Pretty much what they do. I will not say that I know for sure that an orc is a player character or not. I do not know for sure. But the book is laid out quite well. Another thing that I thought was neat is they took the world map, which is right there, and you can pause that and you can zoom in on it, or maybe a little closer. I'm not sure how well it'll focus. But instead of putting the pictographs or whatever for the map, they wrote in all the backers, the Kickstarter backers, across the map, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was a neat touch. There's a bestiary. It goes from page 353 to page 362, so not quite, almost 10 pages of critters to get you started. There will be a monster manual for this. I believe they're having a GM screen come out for it as well. It was very successfully kickstarted. I was unable to participate in it, and I kicked myself, but I just didn't have the money. But they go through character creation, the core mechanics, which the very first thing you read is your introduction. They give you a gameplay example where they don't go through the mechanics. They just give you an example of gaming, which I thought was kind of cool. And it actually sets it up as a nice little adventure for the GM, kind of gives you a way. If you're a new GM, it's a great little introductory story that you can just rip right out of the book and start running. And then they go in, chapter 3 is hero creation, and then chapter 4 is races. And our playable races are humans, elves, half-elves, and dwarves. So your standard fantasy tropes. They go into cultures, professions. You have mundane professions, magical professions, and blessed professions. Obviously, magical is your mages. Blessed is your clerics for our Western equivalents. Advantages and disadvantages are a big part in this game. Skills, of course, and then chapter 9 and 10 is combat and magic. Chapter 10 is quite a large chapter. Chapter 11 is works of the gods, and that goes through all your religious, all the different churches and everything. The cool part about this is the main, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the main 6 religious gods are actually there. They have like avatars that are dragons, and you can run into these dragons. That's the cool part about this world. It's a living, the deities are living. These dragons are the direct aspects of the gods, which I thought was really cool. And then it goes into detailed rules, the bestiary, the equipment, and then game tips, and then an appendix, which gives you a checklist for optional rules, list of common abbreviations, tables, index, and then, of course, the character sheet, which I said is like 4 sheets. You're not going to use all 4 sheets. If you're going to be a magic user or a blessed user, then, of course, you're going to use all 4 sheets. But it's a very detailed character sheet. They crack it down really nice. I would say the one thing I would have liked to have seen on the character sheet, and if the developers or any enterprising entrepreneurial type person is listening, is I think it would be really neat to put that color wheel for the dice codes that go off of the attributes somewhere on one of these character sheets, on like the front or maybe the second sheet that has all your combat stuff. You could put that nice color wheel on there. It would be really helpful to new players. Because this is a game where you're rolling multiple d20s, and so that would be very, very handy. So if anybody's listening out there and has the skill, wants to modify that character sheet, that would be awesome. Here is in the beginning of the book, and you can see I've already got the page bookmarked because I was reading up on it. There's the world map, and each number correlates to a race or region of ethnicities. So they do a good job of breaking it down and telling you about everything. And then, of course, there's the color wheel that I was talking about, which, again, you're rolling multiple dice. I mean, if I can't find anything online, I'm going to at least either scan this or buy the PDF. I do not have the PDF copy of the game yet. But if I do get the PDF copy of the game, I would like to print this off, and I would give this to every player because it tells you the color wheel, and it's really helpful. You know, intuition is intelligence, charisma is black. You know, intelligence is green, sagacity, which is basically your ability to recall knowledge, your book smarts, is purple. You know, courage is red, strength is orange, constitution is white, and agility is blue, and dexterity is yellow, and charisma is black. So it's really neat, the color wheel that you could get D20s in that color. Well, I would even go so far as if I was running, and I will run a demo of this soon, I would just get, 3 or 4 sets of each color of D20s. And I would just have those so the players could use them. So each player could get 1 color of each. I think there's 7 attributes, if I remember correctly. Let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 attributes. So 8 of each color. I mean, the dice are $1 each. It wouldn't be terribly super expensive. You'd probably order it online, get it dirt cheap. So anyway, again, you roll a D20. Certain tasks will only require a single D20. Certain skill checks and stuff require you to roll 3 D20. And of course, you'll break them down by the attributes and the skills that you're trying to use. Magic works the same way, and so does the blessed abilities. Where was I going? The cool part is, I forgot what my cool part was. I believe they have this as a PDF on DriveThruRPG now. I went to UlyssesSpiel-us.com, and they had a link to DriveThruRPG, and they have the character bundle up there. I haven't seen a free character sheet yet. I would like to see that. I don't want to pay $4.95 for a character sheet that's 4 pages. That's over $1. $1 a page, and I don't think character sheets should be free. And I'm not saying that Ulysses is trying to soak us for money. I'm just saying that at this point in time on their website, I did not easily find a downloadable printable character sheet, and that's not to say that it doesn't exist or they're not offering it. I just didn't see it. It looks like they're using some version of like WordPress or something for their website, which I'm not a fan of. Give me a basic web page with some URLs, hyperlinks that I can click, and a download section that I can go right to, and I can download what I want. You kind of have to navigate around it, but then again, they're a foreign company. Maybe that's how they do it over there in Europe. I don't know. It's not a bad website. It's just not to my liking as far as navigation goes. It's not horrible, and it does work. They had a lot of good information on the website. They had a lot of good information about Torg 2.0, and I'm a huge Torg fan, so really would like to get in on the playtest or early copies of that. Hint, hint, hint. Ulysses Spiel, if you're watching, because I would love to do a review of it. I've seen some good things so far, the little teaser photos they've shot out. But this is not a review of Torg 2.0. This is a review of The Dark Eye. So, little blurb on the back says, The Dark Eye Core Rules. The Dark Eye is Germany's premier fantasy role-playing game in continuous publication for more than 30 years, now in English in this exciting new edition. It was a different company that produced this. I think it's either the 2nd or 3rd edition of the English version. And it was a much thinner book. They came out with a couple other, splat books. I never picked them up. I never saw them anywhere. And back in that time, Amazon wasn't around, or, BarnesandNobles.com didn't exist. You went to your local game store, and they tried to order it from Alliance or Diamond Distribution. So this is just... The quality and production of this book is gorgeous. I wish every game company put this much effort into the production quality of their books. You guys have heard me say before in the past, or before in previous reviews, I hate disjointed art. I hate it when these small press companies have a great idea for a role-playing game and they put it out, but yet they've got 8 different guys doing art and the flavor is all different. Now, that being said, I don't have a problem if you take the region where the orcs are from and you give that to an artist and he does all of that art. And then you take another region where the elves are from and you give it to a different artist and they do all that, and so on and so on. That's okay, because there's a continuity there and there's a flavor that when you see an orc, you get that visual representation, and that's what orcs look like. And it's easy as a GM to describe them. And then, you see an elf, and that's what elves look like. That's what their flora and fauna looks like, and so on and so forth. So I hate it when games do that, and you've got 6 different types of art, for 6 different styles. And it breaks the cohesion down. And the whole point we're doing this is to escape reality. So let's make it as immersive as possible. I don't know who the artists are here. I'm sure they're listed in the book. Let's see. Layout was Thomas Machowski. These are going to be foreign names. I'm going to slaughter them. I apologize. Translation was done by Daniel Mayer, Walter Milani Mueller. Additional English material by Kevin McGregor. The cover illustration was by Anna Steinbauer. And I think it's phenomenal. I don't know who Anna Steinbauer is, but if she was to put out an art book today, I would buy it, because I think she's done a lot of the art inside of the book as well. And yeah, there's probably 20 different artist names in here, and I'm not going to say them all. This was copyright produced 2016 by Ulysses Spiel, Germany, and it is phenomenal. So yeah, it's beautiful. What can I say? Now, the neat little prize was I went and bought this, and I was totally excited. And I haven't bought a game book in a little bit over a month now, and I worked very hard for my money. Excuse me, I got to resituate myself there. And so I went and bought that at the game store yesterday, and I thought, wow, $50, it's a chunk, but it's a hefty book, 414 pages. I'm happy. Then she breaks out this and goes, oh, this comes with it. This is what the Kickstarter's got. This is an introductory adventure, the Witch's Dance. And it's probably right at 20, it's 14 pages front and back, so 26 pages total. It's got it's an adventure. And it's neat. What can I say? The little blurb here is, thrice speak your curse as witches dance. Your victim will never have a chance. At midnight you will curse destroy. In moonlight none escape your ploy. Thrice draw the circle around your home. The curse will find them where they roam. Thrice walk the path unto the source. On magic wave will come the force. If Mada's bindings start to fade, speak your curse with hate and rage. If Fex pulls the bindings tight, speak your curse with darkest spite. If Mada is hidden in the dark, speak aloud with an arrogant spark. Heed the full moon, be prepared, and let your vengeance leave them scared. The adventure at a glance. Help three witches as they struggle to escape the clutches of a corrupt and evil master. Genre, detective story, wilderness adventure. Prerequisites, no prejudices towards or hatred for witches. Location, somewhere in the northern half of Adventure where witches are more common. Date, modern, around 1038 FB. I don't remember what FB stands for. I do apologize. Complexity, player/GM, low. So this is an introductory adventure for players and the GM. Suggested hero experience, inexperienced to experienced. Useful skills. It's got pips from 1 to 4, and it says social skills is 2 pips, combat is 2 pips, living history is, I think, 1 pip. So you want kind of medium of the road combat skilled characters, which is probably what a base level character is. I haven't made a character for this version of the game, so I don't know how it works per se, but I will definitely be making one, I can tell you that. I'm probably going to make a couple pre-gens. I may even, I don't think there's any in here as it appears, but it is pretty well laid out. They do give you the NPC stats for all the monsters and critters that you run into. And this was a freebie. I mean, it even comes with a pretty detailed map. You can see that. And then, some stat cards for a bear and a wolf. There's a bunch of other monsters in here. I don't want to give too much away. But they do give, I think that's the main bad guy. And there's his stat line. So they give you everything you need. Give you all of his spells. He uses fencing weapons at a 14, which means he's a little bit better than average. Brawling is a 10. He's not so good. He can hold his own in a bar fight, but then he has a bunch of cantrips and spells. And he'll escape after he's losing 75% of his life points. So they basically tell you how to play him. So that was nice. That was a freebie. That's easily, they could have charged $5-10 for this, but they sent it out with the books, and if you bought a book, you got a copy, which I believe is what happened with the Kickstarter as well. I think you got a copy of this as a PDF and probably as a physical copy as well when you purchase the game through Kickstarter. So that's The Dark Eye, man. It's a cool game. It's a twist on the American version of D&D, I think. It's been around for 30 years. Like I said, I got to play it there in its early second edition. The reviews were not very kind about the mechanics. They talked pretty hard about them. I apologize if you guys can hear the rain, but it's hitting my window. There's nothing I can do about that, and I refuse to wear my headset because I don't like it. But that's The Dark Eye, man. Good hard fantasy, high magic, clerics. You can pull off some amazing stunts with magic. But everything has a cost. It's life points instead of hit points, but it's the same concept. Beautiful game. Like I said, art consistent. I haven't found any typos. I'm about a quarter of the way through the book. I haven't found any typos or major sentence glitches, or grammatical errors. Like I said, pretty impressive nonetheless. Beautiful artwork. Their cartography on the maps are solid. They did a really nice job. The maps have a nice flavor all their own. The layout of the book is phenomenal. The paper's glossy. It's thick. It's going to hold up to a lot of play. I'm hoping that I can get a PDF review copy, because that would allow me to play with it a little bit more. And I hate taking my hardback books to game stores and stuff where people are going to mangle them, because not everybody is polite and courteous as I am. And so, there are guys eating donuts and they want to touch your books, and I'm like, no. So I'd like to get a PDF. I'll get a PDF copy of it one way or the other, and then I will print it myself and spiral bound it, and that will be my play copy. I'm probably going to run this adventure. I might even run this at MagCon later on in the year, closer towards summer. I think MagCon is in April or May, and I'll probably run that at MagCon, which is a convention here in Texas. So that's my thoughts and review of The Dark Eye. Let me know what you think. If you've picked it up or you backed the Kickstarter, are you happy with it? Do you like the layout of the book? Do you like the art? Do you think my review is fair? Is it the perfect game? No. Is it close? Yeah, I'd say so. I think the mechanics are a little heavy, but I think once you learn them, it's no more difficult than Shadowrun, and they've got 5 revisions of Shadowrun, and they still can't get it right. And don't get me wrong, I love Shadowrun. I just don't like the mechanics. I think they're kludgy and clunky, and I don't like them. This falls close to that category, but nowhere near as horrible. There will be a learning curve with the 3 attributes / skills when you're trying to do something, but I don't think it's going to be a hard thing. And the character sheet appears to be laid out pretty well. I would like to see the color wheel for the dice codes on a character sheet. I think that would be very helpful to new players, even to veteran players, because you're going to be doing a lot of dice. You got to roll 3 dice for every skill check that you want to do. That can get very cumbersome. Whereas if you had a nice little dice box or whatever, like I do, and I let my players use it, you can just roll all 3 dice with the colors, and you can look at your color wheel and see if I pass or fail. Speaking of which, just as a side note, go off camera here. Longtime gamers, we go to conventions and we spend $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $100 on dice boxes. Stop. They look cool. They're nice. Your local smoke shop, cigar shop, free. Hardwood. It's got a hinge on it. Opens and closes. Get yourself, go to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatever your little Anna's Linens. They sell felt. You can get it in any color you want. You want purple, you want green, you want black. Self-adhesive. You measure it. You cut it with an X-Acto knife. Takes you 5 minutes. You line the inside of this with that felt. Now you have a nice dice box. It's that simple. You can spray paint this. You could peel. This is that's the design on here. You can't really take that off. The wood is pretty thin. It's just pressboard wood. you know, almost like plywood, so you don't want to sand it. It wouldn't work. But you could put a piece of felt over this, put one of your gamer patches or your logo of your local game club on here. All this other stuff peels off. It's just paper that's glued on there. Little 120, 180 grit sandpaper will take it off, you know, so you don't ruin the wood. And then you just repaint it, put whatever it is you want on it, and now you've got a dice box, and you're good to go. I mean, and this is free. When I lived in California, I would get these from the local smoke shop, and he had really cool boxes. Here's a Cohiba, which is Santiago, la República Dominica. This is, but it's got a little latch on it. Just pop it, and look, it opens. I took a piece of sheet metal, and I cut it to fit, and then I magnetized my miniatures. This one doesn't have a magnet, but you sit it on there, and it sticks. This miniature is too tall. My undead army was in here for warlords, but look, I didn't even do anything to this box. It's just a nice box, and I can take that metal out of there because I can pry it out. It's not super wedged in there, and I've got another dice box if I need it. But come on, man, $1. That's what the guy charged me for the more nicer. I have some really nice boxes. $1 a box, because he's just going to throw them away. So he's making a little extra profit. But these were free at the local smoke shop here in Beaumont. He gave me 3 of these. I've already turned one into a dice box. I don't have it handy, or I would show you. But just a little crafting tip. I watch DM Scotty on the web and on YouTube, and he does a lot of stuff by hand, and he's very crafty. And I thought I bought a $20, $30 dice box at Rice 2 years ago, Rice University at OwlCon. And I paid like $30 for the damn thing. And it's nothing but a simple little wooden box that she traced the head of a dragon. And it's a nice picture, don't get me wrong. But she traced it and then just had her husband lacquer it. And she's selling them. She bought the box at Hobby Lobby or something. It's just a little wooden tray box. And she just lacquered. She traced that drawing on there, and then she lacquered it. Sold it, and she probably paid $5 in materials and charged me $30. So that's just pure profit. Now, don't get me wrong. I love that box. It goes to all my conventions with me, and I really enjoy it. But here, you can put your dice in here. You can close the lid. You can even go get little cheapo latches, or you can use a strip with Velcro, whatever, and put your dice in there. Put some pens and some scratch paper, some 3x5 cards, fold your character sheet in half. You got everything you need to play right here. I mean, the digest size RPG books will fit in here. The Song of Fire and Ice, Savage Worlds, all those will fit inside a box this size. And it's light. There's nothing to this. So you can just carry this and you got everything you need. So just saying, guys, think with your wallet, think with your brain. If you've got the excess money and you want to buy these super duper dice box, go for it. I'm not saying don't, but I'm just saying this is kind of a cool hobby. I can't wait till my son's old enough to show him how to do this. And again, just that adhesive felt that you buy at Michael's or any Anna's Linen, Hobby Lobby, and you just measure it, cut it. You don't even have to measure it. You can push it down in there, use your X-Acto knife to cut it at the seam, and it'll fit in there pretty flush. It may not be as super pretty as if you measure. I measured mine. It looks nice. And then you're done. You got a dice box. I see these mahogany boxes going on sale. You're just going to drop it. You're going to ding it. You're going to scratch it. If that falls and breaks, I'm not even out any money except for the $2 I spent on felt at Hobby Lobby. Not the end of the world. So just saying, that's just a little. So that was a little rant on the side. That's a freebie. Hey, so that's my review of the Dark Eye. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or concerns, as always, you can email me through YouTube or jpolak@gmail.com. And thanks, peace, hair grease, and remember, as always, be nice to each other.